Welcome back to Charlotte, North Carolina. The 17-10 Phoenix Suns, the 10-19 Charlotte Bobcats. Tonight's starting lineups brought to you by Discount Tire Company. Visit Discount Tire Company on the web by logging on to discounttire.com. Discount Tire, low prices, more choices, and the best brands. Starting lineup for the Phoenix Suns, and one of the goals tonight will be to find some rest for Steve Nash and Sean Marion, both averaging over 41 minutes per game so far on this road trip. Nash and Bell in the backcourt, Boris Diaw, Sean Marion in the forwards, and Kurt Thomas in the middle for Suns head coach Mike D'Antoni, who secured win number 100 as head coach of the Phoenix Suns with that victory in Washington over the Wizards. So congratulations going out to Mike D'Antoni of the Suns. And now the starting lineup for the hometown Charlotte Bobcats. And you see Brevin Knight in there at the point guard position. He was actually injured in their last game of victory here at home over the Chicago Bulls. Went down with an ankle injury in the second quarter. They weren't sure if he would play here tonight, but he does recover in time. And Kareem Rush is back in the lineup. He missed 4 games with a sprained left index finger. Primo Brezitz is the center, flanked by Gerald Wallace, who won Player of the Week honors at the end of November. And Melvin Ely is the power forward for the head coach of the Bobcats in his second season. He's also their general manager. It's Bernie Bickerstaff performing magic tricks with this team, decimated by injuries. And Dan, you look at the lineup, it kind of looks like an NBDL roster. How he's won 4 of 5 and 5 of 7, which are both franchise bests, is astounding.
Well, I'll tell you, he's got him doing it by playing extremely hard. This is a team that's second in the league in forcing turnovers. They're number 1 in steals. They're number 1 in points off of turnovers. So he knows his team's going to go out, and the only way they have a chance to win is to outplay the other team as far as effort.
And there is our AutoZone matchup presented by AutoZone. Get in the zone. AutoZone, Raja and Rush. Kareem Rush, who had a career-high 35 earlier this season against the Pacers.
This is, Kareem Rush leading his team in scoring with 13.5 points. So Raja, no surprise for him to be on the best scorer on that team. And Kareem's having a pretty good year here, shooting from three-point land, shooting 37%. So look for him to get out and get behind that arc. And Raja will play his hard-nosed defense like he does every night, and that's one guy we're going to have to key on.
Take a look at that brand new scoreboard here in Charlotte Bobcats Arena. Mark Cuban came in here with the Dallas Mavericks, and after leaving Charlotte, he called his people back in Dallas, said, we need to buy us one of those. Look at the size of those screens. Gargantuan.
Well, that looks like the screen inside your probably family room, but that is one of the biggest scoreboards, and that is an awesome picture. This is a nice arena.
Yeah, we had a nice tour, too, from their public relations director, former Suns employee, Scott Lightman, showing us around this beautiful facility. But again, Dan, this is a banged-up Bobcats team. Go back over the injuries, and Okafor out with the ankle injury. He's now missing his 5th straight game. Sean May, one of their first-round draft picks, has missed the last 4 now with a knee injury, and he actually came to this team with knee problems out of North Carolina.
Yeah, they're going to miss Sean May, another big guy along with Okafor, a guy who's averaging over 10 rebounds a game and blocks some shots, and is a guy that they really, bank on. So, the Suns here have faced their 2 toughest opponents on the road, but they can't be coming in here with being too overconfident, because if they face a team like this, they really have nothing to lose. You said it. You got a bunch of guys nobody really knows. They're going to come out. They're going to try to say, I belong in this league. I want to get some playing time. I'm going to play hard. And if the Suns aren't careful, this team can sneak up on you.
Yeah, you saw Sean May there, and before that, it was the 2 Huskies, Okafor and Jake Voskuhl. Voskuhl has missed 21 games already this season with knee and ankle problems. And of course, in-street clothes, unable to go tonight against his former team, was actually traded here to Charlotte for a 2nd-round draft pick. Jake Voskuhl with the Bobcats. Now, Brevin Knight and Okafor both sat out practice yesterday. Voskuhl actually did work out with the team along with Sean May, so they're on their road to recovery. Game 3 of the road trip for the Suns. After this one, off to Chicago. A New Year's Eve broadcast tomorrow night from the United Center. Suns
That'll be interesting.
Oh, yes. The tuxedos are ordered. That's all I have to say. We will be broadcasting in style.
I hope mine's powder blue.
Powder puff blue. You got it, pal. Whatever you want. So Sean Marion lacing him up, Steve Nash, and the Suns getting ready for this one. Their head coach, Mike D'Antoni, basically setting up that movie afternoon along with Julie Fye of the Phoenix Suns and Disney Productions, and asking Mike, you're not really into gimmicks or pranks with the players. He's pretty low-key as head coach of this team, but he said, you know what, I picked this movie on purpose. It's very inspirational. I would not have taken them to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
No, I think it was a lot of fun. I mean, you take them to a basketball movie. I really enjoyed it, and I'm just wondering why you didn't buy me any popcorn.
You walked in with Kempton. You act like you didn't even know me. You're sick of me already on this road trip, I think. So Bernie Bickerstaff and the Bobcats coming in winners of 4 of their last 5 amidst all the injuries. And Bernie saying before this game, it's because of a commitment to effort. My guys have been laying it on the line. He's actually worried that when the injured players come back that they'll actually all relax and that the injured players may not have the same commitment of these reserves that have really stepped in admirably. And there is the first steal, caused by Gerald Wallace, who takes the other way for the cram. Now watch out for the Bobcats. I mentioned that they are scrappy. They are #1 in the NBA in steals. Suns first possession, and they lose it, and it turns into 2.
Well, you're right. They're #1 in steals, and they're #1 points off of turnovers. They got to steal, and they got to point up with 2 points off of turnovers, and that's how this team stays in games and wins.
Suns will have to be careful putting the ball on the floor. They'll have to beat this defense with passing and not dribbling. Kurt Thomas, the direct hit, and we are tied up at 2. But very similar to the technique that you see from the Memphis Grizzlies. They love to scratch and claw and try to prod that ball free.
I think you're right. They have to be careful to protect the ball. If they do protect the ball, they should be able to get some wide open shots, because this Bobcat team is not very good defensively. They allow 46% shooting from the other teams.
Wallace exterminated there by Sean Marion. And now Marion out beyond the 3-point line. He'll let it fly. Back iron and into the hands of Gerald Wallace. The NBA's Eastern Conference Player of the Week at the end of November. He averaged 22 points and 9 rebounds. But Dan, since that time, Gerald Wallace has not led this team in scoring after winning that award.
That's kind of a weird stat, a guy who gets that recognition and then doesn't lead his team. I was watching him shoot out here before the game, and just not a very good looking jump shot, if you can even call it a jump shot. This guy relies on his athletic ability, get some steals, go to the basket, go and slash and get into the rim. So the Suns want to play off him and make him shoot the jump shot.
Wallace's career started in Sacramento with the Kings, and now the former Clipper Melvin Ely turns and fires past Kurt Thomas, boarded there by Boris Diaw, who's jerking down 7 rebounds per game. His shot wasn't quite there in Washington as it was against Minnesota when Diaw scored the career-high 31 points to jumpstart this road trip. Primo Brezic's there on Nash, and then Marion hacked by Brevin Knight, and a ticket to the line for Sean Marion.
Well, Primo got switched over on Nash, and Nash is going to take him to the basket, which allowed the Bobcats to really focus on Steve, and that's why Sean Marion was able to back cut Brevin Knight and get to the basket.
And to the line goes Sean Marion. And you take a look at the Western Conference All-Star voting, Dan. It's going to be awfully difficult for Sean Marion to win a starting berth in the Western Conference. Boy, that is a loaded position there at forward with Tracy McGrady, Kevin Garnett, Tim Duncan, Dirk Nowitzki, Elton Brand. Sean is certainly deserving, but most likely, if he gets in, would be as a reserve role once again in the Western Conference All-Stars.
Well, it's going to take a while for the Suns to warm up because it's awfully cold in here as there's ice underneath the floor.
Pretty move there. Nash laying it up for Boris Diaw, and the Suns have a 2-point lead. Bobcats come in averaging 96 points per game on offense. They give up 98. Suns, of course, top scoring team in the league, right now tied with the Philadelphia 76ers for top scoring honors in the league. Inside of 5 seconds for the southpaw Kareem Rush, again coming off a 4-game absence, left index finger injury. Marion looking for troops on the move, and Boris Diaw flips it in. So players not sprinting down the floor, but the trailer, Boris Diaw, taking the Marion feed in.
Yeah, Boris being very aggressive and taking it to the basket. Gerald Wallace kind of just moved right out of his way and allowing Boris to get the layup.
You made a great point, too, that Sean has to realize the fact as Brezic nails it from the outside. This is a different team from last season, but the speed will pick up when Leandro Barbosa and Amari Stoudemire return.
Well, you're missing 2 of the fastest guys after position. I mean, Leandro is one of the faster guards in the league, and nobody can outrun Amari at the center position. There's a great pass there by Boris Diaw, and over the shoulder to the weak side to Sean Marion, officials with a slam.
The crush for Marion, the feed from Diao, and the Suns doubling up on Charlotte here early, 8-4. How important is it for the Suns to get out to an early lead, maybe build a big lead, and find some rest time for Nash and Marion for the rest of the road trip?
Well, it's important they first of all win the game, and you don't want a team like Charlotte, who's got some confidence right now, winning 5 of the last 7, to think they can stay in this game. They want to get out and put this team away, hopefully early, and get some rest for those guys.
Marion on the run out, but the pass was intercepted by Gerald Wallace, already his second steal. And he comes in 7th in the NBA in steals per game. And Brezic's will head to the line for 2. The Suns start out this game 4 of 5 shooting from the field. Diao has hit his first 2. Marion and Kurt Thomas each with the bucket.
Well, watch this pass as Diao continues to amaze us with his vision and his passing abilities. They double team, and nobody from the weak side slides down, and Sean gets a wide open layup.
That is a tasty dish there from 3D Boris Diao to Marion. And now to the line goes the 7'1" Primo Brezic, 26 years of age, now in his 5th season out of Slovenia. And this is the 2nd season for the Bobcats franchise, and they've been plucking players from other teams from the expansion draft and through trades. And Brezic's coming over in the expansion draft. He was left unprotected by the Indiana Pacers. Hits both the free throws. We are tied up at 8. First 3 years with the Pacers, Brezic's basically, well, never broke a sweat. Didn't play much there in Indiana. National 2-man game now with Diao switching over defensively. Wallace. Nash goes cross court. Marion high arching 3 from the corner. Offensive rebound, fresh 24, courtesy Kurt Thomas. Nash will go ahead and fire the 3. Plenty of room from Gerald Wallace, and the rebound to Melvin Eli, his 4th year out of Fresno State. He led this team in scoring in their last game. It was a victory for the Bobcats here at home over the Chicago Bulls. The Suns' next opponent, Kareem Rush, right on target from the outside.
I talked about earlier that Kareem Rush is a good 3-point shooter, and there he pulls up, and Raja backs off him as he's made his 35th 3 of the year.
Steve Nash bouncing off of Wallace and banks it home, tied up at 10. Nash's first hoop of the ball game. Brevin Knight, who spent 3 games with the Phoenix Suns at one point, drills it from the outside. Mike D'Antoni said, really, the reason why this Bobcats team is able to win amidst the injuries is they have a skilled point guard in Brevin Knight. It always gives you a chance to win. Kurt Thomas from the outside.
Well, the penetration first by Steve Nash set that up as the whole Bobcat squad sank down to the level of the ball inside the paint, left Kurt Thomas wide open for the jump shot.
Apparently Thunder Dan the only chilly one here tonight, because look at the shooting already for both teams. 67% for the Suns, 63% for the Bobcats.
Sean's 0 for 2 from the line. He's a little chilly.
Okay. Wallace, that funky release, back iron, and Steve Nash.
He's always cold from the outside, even though he's hit 1 jumper.
You know, by the way, that's a great teammate right there. Nash could have had that rebound, but he knew Kurt Thomas could use an extra stat. But right there, Thomas is sent away. The defense by Charlotte, and now Knight choked off there by Nash. Wallace into the lane, and now it's Brezic from the outside. Primo Brezic shooting with a whole lot of confidence, and his Bobcats lead by 2. Coming in averaging 11 points and 6 rebounds, but his numbers are on the rise over the last 5 games shooting nearly 55% from the field, and a foul out on the perimeter as Nash is making his way to the hoop. Well, Charlotte has hit 5 of their last 6 shots.
Primo speaks 4 different languages, and when he is 12 years old, he fell off a cliff riding his bike and fractured his spinal cord. So I guess he bounced back okay.
That's when he learned all those languages.
I guess so. He had nothing else to do while he laid in the hospital bed in traction.
It's like the movie Phenomenon. Sean Marion from the outside, ripping the cords for the Matrix, tied up at 14, and Sean now 2 of 4 from the field. And Charlotte now taking their time into the front court, as most teams will with the Phoenix Suns, try to slow the pace down, give themselves a chance to win. Nobody wants to get into a running game with this Suns team.
Why would you ride your bicycle next to a cliff?
I don't know. Swooping move there with the left hand by Bernard Robinson. Wouldn't fall, a 2nd-year player out of Michigan. And if you're going to hear some pregnant pauses, it's because sometimes with this Bobcats team, you have to look down and check your roster. Again, these are not the most familiar of faces or familiar of names. Raymond Felton has checked in for Charlotte, and we have our first time out here from Charlotte Bobcats Arena with the Suns and the Bobcats all knotted up at 14. Suns shooting 64% from the field here in the opening quarter, but are tied up right now with the Bobcats. Now time for Bud Light's What's on Tap. Bud Light, smooth and refreshing. Great taste for your great times all over the side of my face here.
Send me your bill.
Allen Iverson, the 76ers, coming to town, taking on the Suns on Wednesday night, 7 p.m. And once again, the final game at the America West Arena before they rename it U.S. Airways Center.
What's the arena named here?
Charlotte Bobcats Arena.
Original?
Yep.
Nice. I like that.
Let's keep it that way.
Yeah, that's good.
I heard there's a new name for the arena in Boston. Very lengthy. Steve Nash hits the technical free throw, a defensive 3-second violation against the Bobcats. And Charlotte now out there. Keith Bogans has checked in out there with Primo Brezitz. Raymond Felton, the 5th overall pick in the first round, checking in. Prior to that timeout, and Rajabel just off the mark. Kareem Rush also out there along with Bernard Robinson. Pat Burke checks in for the Suns out of the timeout, and James Jones in there off the Suns bench. Kareem Rush, this is a shooter coming out of Missouri. His career started in Los Angeles with the Lakers.
No, not shy. He's going to let it go when he knows his job out there to shoot the basketball and score. And that first shot, I thought he hit a three, but it's actually a long two, and then comes off the screen there and makes a nice jump shot.
Well, you can see this pesky defense of the Bobcats already causing some problems for the Suns. Nash pulls up over Brezitz and sticks it. Steve Nash now his second field goal. He has 5 points and 3 assists here in the first quarter.
Well, they're going to have a problem with Steve Nash is that if they continue to switch a pick and roll with Primo on him, Steve's going to be able to hit that jump shot, or if Primo comes up, be able to drive right by him.
Brezitz comes up shy, and here comes Pat Burke. Scoops it up and now waits for a little help in the form of Rajabel. So Pat Burke, who had a couple of big fourth quarter hoops in that Suns comeback win against the Wizards at the MCI Center. Marion sets up Burke, but the pass is tipped away. Another turnover. From the outside, it's Bogans lighting it up for 3. Keith Bogans out of Kentucky, and Charlotte now with a 2-point lead.
Well, we talked about the Suns can't be careless with the ball, especially on the weak side. That time they threw a lazy pass, and the weak side came down still, and there again, the switch on the pick and roll. Steve Nash just able to stop and hit the jump shot.
Bernie Bickerstaff said that he'd rather make Steve Nash a shooter than a distributor in this game. We've seen the philosophy before, and it also resulted in 48 points one evening for Steve Nash in the playoffs.
Note to Bernie, Steve can shoot.
Bogans wants another 3. And a nice box out there by James Jones coming from behind Bernard Robinson, hit with a personal foul. James Jones' rebounding numbers are escalating on this road trip. Tied his season high with 7 against the Wizards.
There, Pat Burke doing a good job boxing out. James Jones secures the rebound, but we've talked about it before. You really got to take care of the basketball because these guys are looking to steal.
Bobcats coming in, having won 4 of the last 5, we told you, but prior to this run, they had lost 8 in a row, and really their turnaround was jump-started in New Jersey with a victory on the road against the Nets. And from there, confidence for this young and defensive-minded team. There is Raymond Felton from North Carolina, one of the 4 Tar Heels taken with the first 14 picks in the draft.
Well, Raja got away with a foul there as he came over and actually nailed Felton on the side of the head and didn't get the call.
Nash setting up Marion to the oohs and ahs of the crowd here in Charlotte.
Well, oohs and ahs got the offensive rebound, fake like he was going to pass it, and then behind the back.
It is always something special to watch Steve Nash perform out on the floor, and for fans like these here in Charlotte, they really have only one opportunity to see him in person. Kareem Rush, not close.
Well, there's Raj again getting under people's skin as he felt like he hit Kareem Rush right on the elbow on that jump shot. Kareem was complaining to the ref all the way down. That's the second time that Raja has affected jump shot by the Charlotte Bobcats.
Pat Burke whistled for the infraction, and he heads to the Suns bench. Let's go back to Steve Nash and yet another special delivery off the offensive rebound.
This is the jumper, goes, fouls the shot, going to fake like he's going to give it to Pat Burke. Nope, left-hander behind the back to Sean Marion, who lays it in.
Back here in Charlotte, Suns leading the Bobcats by 2 in the opening quarter. Hey, Suns fans, head on down to the Jack in the Box at the northwest corner of I-10 and Ray Road on Thursday, January 5th at 2 p.m. and meet Raja Bell. You can also purchase tickets at this event for the upcoming Jack in the Box NBA Celebrity Shootout on Sunday, January 15th. Bell at the box. Raja and the Suns with the lead here in the opening period. Eddie House coming off the Suns bench. So he's out there along with Nash, James Jones, Pat Burke, and Sean Marion. 2:20 to go here in the opening quarter. Melvin Ely had 20 points in their victory over the Chicago Bulls here at home a couple nights ago. Kills the dribble and now trying to reset there in the low block against Burke. Drops the shoulder, and he goes Kareem right over Burke.
Well, Eli, a distant cousin of Dale Ellis.
Where are you getting all this homework? So you talked to somebody before this. First you got Primo driving off on his bike. I'm keeping track of this. This is serious homework here tonight in Thunder Day and Marley. I'm loving it. Who is that he was related to here?
Dale Ellis, who was a one-time great shooter. So those two must have got together, and Eli must have been in the post, and Dale was in the outside beating each other.
Dale Ellis, second all-time in three-point makes behind Reggie Miller and leading Ray Allen now. So 1:41 to go here in the opening quarter. Bobcats coming in as the second worst shooting team in the NBA, but right now shooting 50% from the field, and they have caused 4 Suns turnovers already here in the period. Eli, traveling violation, trying to back down on Boris. And that is now the third turnover on the Bobcats.
Well, they're going to continue to go to Eli, who's been very productive for them in the post, and Boris has given up a lot of size down there.
4 of the 5 Suns starters have scored here in the opening quarter. Everybody but Raja Bell. It's James Jones from the outside, and Boris Diaw tracks down the offensive board. Tied up at 21. All 5 starters have scored for the Bobcats. Lob feed, Nash to Marion, elevates and detonates.
Well, I talked about this Bobcat team. Not a very good team, defensive team fundamentally. They look for a lot of steals, and that time again, looking at the ball, got backdoored.
Marion having some high-flying highlights here on this road trip. And we mentioned in Minnesota, too, that Sean's numbers are higher on the road than at home. Jermaine Jones sticks it from the outside and tied up at 23. Jones coming over to this team here in Charlotte in a trade just before the start of the season with the Los Angeles Lakers. Lakers giving up a second-round draft pick to acquire Jermaine Jones. And that is a kick right there by Bogans, who then fires it off the glass.
Where you're going to see this backdoor again is pick and roll, switch off on Nash. Everybody's going to be concentrated on him, and then they just lose all sight of Sean Marion. Just back cut, and Steve just throws it up towards the rim, and the matrix finishes.
Marion has hit 4 of his 6 shots. 8 points to lead the Suns. Nash has 7 to go along with his 5 assists here in the opening quarter. Inside of 40 seconds to go. Jones defended there by Jones. James against Jermaine, who now switches over on Eddie House, flips it up in the lane, and down it goes for Eddie House.
Well, that's all the Suns have to do. They have to run pick and rolls, and the little guys are going to get an advantage. The big guys on them, and have to continue to be aggressive and take the ball to the basket, as Eddie House did there.
First bench points for Phoenix here tonight. Powering in is Bogans. Rebound to Marion, and Mike D'Antoni wants one final shot by Phoenix here of this first quarter. Nash now defended by Bernard Robinson. Boris rolls, takes the feed on the reversal off the Steve Nash dish. Nash now with 6 assists here in the quarter. There's Raymond Felton to end the period, and we are done with 1 here at Charlotte Bobcats Arena with the Suns leading by 4.
Well, the Suns did a good job of dissecting that defense of the Bobcats, especially with the pick and roll. And the Suns come out and take care of the first quarter here at the Bobcat Arena. Great name.
Oh, it is. And Dr. Nash is performing surgery here in Charlotte. 6 assists already for the league leader in assists. And you are watching Phoenix Suns basketball on UPN 45. Start of the second quarter here in Charlotte. Gerald Wallace off the window to begin the second period.
When you look at the stats there in the first quarter, a good telltale sign for the Suns. 16 of those points came in the paint, which means they're being aggressive and not just settling for jump shots. They only took 3 3-pointers.
Sean Marion tips in the Boris Diaw miss.
And you see it right there is Boris being aggressive, taking the hole and missing, and Sean Marion using that athletic ability, getting way above the rim and finishing.
It was very interesting. Steve Nash beginning the second quarter on the Suns bench, but talking to Bernie Bickerstaff before this game, he said normally as a coach you don't like to see too much dribbling from your point guard or any player on your team for that matter. As sticking it from the outside is Raymond Felton, but he said with Steve Nash, he dribbles with a purpose and with impact. Offensive rebound, Boris Diaw resets to Jones, and now Eddie House, the one-time Bobcat, over to Jones, back iron. Diaw trying to keep it alive, but whistled for the loose ball foul.
And you also like to see the work the Suns are doing on the rebounding end as they're out rebounding the Bobcats 14-7, so being aggressive there too. But getting back to Steve Nash, he does such a good job. If they're not worthless dribbles, I mean, he takes the ball into the paint. He's always got his head up. He's looking for guys, and he's such a good shooter too. You can't just let him, lay off him. So he does a good job of making his dribble count and distributing the basketball.
And the other Suns players will have to be even more careful too because of this defense that forces so many turnovers, and that was what was on the Suns chalkboard in their locker room. Number one was be ready for pressure. Mike D'Antoni and his assistant coach Phil Weber with the scatter report on this team saying, again, they're number one forcing turnovers, and they forced 5 by the Suns in the opening period. They also said stop the penetration, take the charges because they are coming at you and coming at the rim. Inside, the ball tipped away by Diaw, scooped up there by Jim Jackson. Suns on a 4-on-2. In the corner, Jones for 2. Boris Diaw, offensive rebound for Phoenix. Flips it up blindly over his head and then finally jerked out of there by the Bobcats. Up ahead comes Raymond Felton right down Main Street, couldn't finish with the left. Felton did not get the start here tonight, with Brevin Knight returning from the ankle injury. Kareem Rush also returning as well. Jermaine Jones misses the lay-in. But the Bobcats awfully successful when their rookie Raymond Felton started. They're 5-1 with Felton as a starter.
Yeah, they are, and you just saw why the Suns are one of the leaders in block shots as James Jones did a good job coming from the weak side and erasing that shot by Bobcats.
Marion short-armed it. Jim Jackson couldn't find the range. Couple cracks at it there for Phoenix, and here comes Bogans. Again, attacking the cylinder. They're coming hard. Marion clears it to Eddie House. Crossover, past Wallace, finger roll. Tipping is Jim Jackson once, twice. And finally, Gerald Wallace, who bounces right into Eddie House, who hits the wood.
I like that, though. Eddie House, usually see him pull up on the break on behind the 3. That time, crossed over and took it all the way to the rim. Just wasn't able to finish, but a great move by Eddie House here. Usually just stops right here and lets it go, but crosses over Wallace, and easy finger roll, just happened to miss it, but the Suns doing a good job of crashing those offensive boards, just can't find a way to put it in the hole right now.
Suns really struggling with their shot here in the quarter. 1 of 10 from the field after they shot nearly 60% in the first quarter.
They are, but you still like the shot attempts they're taking, and not a lot of long jumpers, even though on that previous break they had a 4-on-2. James Jones, I thought, should have took it right to the basket instead of running to the three-point line, kind of getting married to that three-point line a little bit. When you got advantages, you want to take it to the basket.
8-1 Phoenix on the offensive glass. A break for Sean Marion, averaging over 43 minutes per game on this road trip. In and out for Brevin Knight. And now the ball into the hands of Eddie House. 13 games with the Bobcats last season. Remember, he played with 3 different teams last year. Jim Jackson cans it for 2. Jim Jackson finding the range.
The Bobcats waive Eddie House?
I believe they did, because he went to Milwaukee and then finished the season in Sacramento.
They think.
From the corner, Jermaine Jones, offensive rebound, fresh 24 for Gerald Wallace and the Bobcats. Now it's Bogans for 3. Second three-pointer lit up by Keith Bogans. And we are tied at 31, 8:45 and counting here in quarter number 2. Big shot attempt, Eddie House, absolutely for Eddie House and the Suns. In the zone with AutoZone, $100 to Phoenix Suns Charities.
Off the pick and roll, they have no idea why any of the Charlotte Bobcats would want to go underneath on Eddie House as he just stopped and hit that 3.
First make in 5 three-point attempts by the Suns here in the first half. Their lead is 3. Wallace trying to dissect the defense himself, looking for Jones, and a foul in the paint on Boris Diaw. And we have a timeout, 8:19 to go. Eddie House's three-pointer has given the Suns a 3-point edge.
You're going to see Eddie House first to crossover, get in the basket. Here, that's what he does best. Pulls up, nobody wants to guard him. He said, you know what? That's easy money for me. Knocks it in. Suns 34, Bobcats 31.
The beautiful and talented Margot Lightman here in Charlotte, watching the Suns on top of the Bobcats 34-31 in the second. This day in NBA history, presented by Paddock Pools, Patios, and Spas. Experience the magic of Christmas now at all Paddock stores. We're all your holiday needs. There he is. December 30th, 1990, Orlando Scott Skiles dished out an NBA record, 30 assists as the Magic defeated Denver 155-116 at Orlando Arena. Scott Skiles probably watching as we speak.
Was that Lightman's wife?
That was.
Man, did he overachieve.
He sure did. They continue to tell him that. So Scott Skiles in the Bulls.
To get those glasses checked. Stronger prescription.
Scott Skiles and the Bulls getting ready for the Suns tomorrow night. Three-pointer by Jermaine Jones. And something tells me that Scott Skiles is not in the best of moods these days. His last game here in Charlotte, he watched his Bulls lose 93-80. Bobcats win it without Rush, Okafor, Sean May, Vosco, all the injured players. Eddie House, a direct hit from the outside.
They're going to product of the two-man game. Big man couldn't get out there quick enough. Eddie House knocks down. We know he doesn't need much time at all.
And already, Eddie House 3 of 4 from the field. We have confirmed it. Thunderdan, Eddie House was waived by this Bobcats team back on December 5th. Left-handed hook there by Melvin Ely.
Good job of reposting there by Eli. Got the back out and just muscled Kurt Thomas in there.
And Eddie House being waived. This was after he scored 20 points in a game for the Bobcats last
season. I reiterate, what were they thinking?
House now has it. Defended there by Brevin Knight, working around the perimeter. Jim Jackson has a bucket here in the second quarter, puts it on the floor, and a foul on Jermaine Jones of the Bobcats. Bobcats come in 10-19 overall. They are 6-8 here at home in the brand new Bobcats Arena. And check out the Arizona Sports Report on FSN Arizona nightly at 9:30 p.m. for interviews, game previews, highlights, and player profiles. The ASR gets you up close and personal with the Suns nightly at 9:30 only on FSN Arizona. Brevin Knight shadowing Eddie House. Inside of 5 on the shot clock. Eddie goes up for the shot, and let's see if they give him the free throws. Hacked there by Brevin Knight. He was going airborne. And let's see, 3 free throws for Eddie House, who was behind the line.
Well, here, nothing going on, just one-on-one, and Eddie was going to go up. Brevin Knight got caught with his hand in the cookie jar, fouled Eddie House, and he gets 3 free tosses.
That's where that reputation really helps you, too. 3rd personal foul now on Brevin Knight, but even the referees know if Eddie House has the ball in his hand and is going up, he's not looking to pass.
No. Even Joe Forte knows that.
One of the few things he does know. Dan Marley still holding a grudge. Forte, of course, the referee who waved off the mystical jam over Manute Bol.
Offensive foul. Crazy.
Will you ever get over it?
Never.
House sticks the first free throw.
I remind him again tonight. He came over here stretching.
You are relentless.
Like, you remember back in '88?
He saw you.
That phantom call you made on me in the Memorial Coliseum.
He saw you turn around and just went the other direction.
He was like, "Who are you?"
They call me Thunder. I'm a pretty big deal in Phoenix. Probably don't know. So 2 of 3 for Eddie House at the line. 7 points here in the second quarter for the ex-Bobcat. 6:40 to go until halftime. Matt Carroll, the former member of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, bucket and 1 for Matt Carroll, fresh off the pine.
Matt Carroll from Notre Dame scored 2,667 career points in high school, second to only one Kobe Bryant. You can see here, known as a shooter, puts it on the floor with the finish and the foul. Yeah, I went to, let me see what I got here. Southeastern Pennsylvania.
Who did you pay for all this information?
Second in that state in scoring in high school, second to Kobe Bryant. Not a bad second.
This is like somebody taking a test for you. I'm taking this cheat sheet from you. That is just loaded with a wealth of information. I'm loving it. Jim Jackson. Is that a shot or a pass?
Well, it was a shot, but he's going to say it was a pass.
And a traveling violation on James Jones. Well, I got one for you.
Okay.
Jim Jackson. You know his wife, Shawnee?
No, I don't know her, but
okay.
I'm sure she's a lovely woman.
A business manager for boxer Mike Tyson for 6 years. Top that one, Dan Marley.
She was a
business manager for Mike Tyson for 6 years. And I didn't need a cheat sheet for that.
That's scary, I'll tell you the truth.
Raymond Felton, back iron. Kurt Thomas there, ripping the rebound. And now the Suns trying to run, but in the backcourt, a double team there on Eddie House. And he throws it away. The pressure in the backcourt, forcing the turnover. Bobcats leading by 1 halfway through the second quarter, and we have a timeout. Suns, well, they may have been looking for a blowout. We don't have a timeout. We're going to keep it here. May have been looking for a blowout. They're not getting one here in the first half.
Well, you know, this team plays hard. We talked about it. When you're down some players, you're not going to go out there and play screaming hard, and they've got some confidence.
Matt Carroll drains the three-pointer. The big shot by Matt Carroll. And the Bobcats' lead is now 4. That is their biggest advantage. All-time leading three-point shooter in Notre Dame history, Matt Carroll.
Well, the Bobcats only shoot 30% from behind the arc, and obviously they're hotter here tonight. Shot 5 for 8, only take 13 a game.
Suns seem to bring out the best in opponents because of their style of play. And you talk about that, and these opponents knowing that it's going to be a freewheeling style, come out very loose. Wallace missed everything.
There was that pretty jumper I was talking about from Jared Wallace.
The guy shoots 53% from the field. But I believe
he's not taking too many of those from
slashes and
beyond
dunks.
3 feet.
Charlotte and Bernie Bickerstaff on a 5-0 run despite the shooting exploits of G. Wall.
Just a little bit outside. Shoot turnovers.
Back here in Charlotte, Bobcats Arena in downtown Charlotte. Oh, what a beautiful facility. Beautiful. Very large, too. Boy, you can see it from 10 blocks away. Hey, Suns fans, don't miss out on this opportunity. The Phoenix Suns and Whispering Hope Ranch are auctioning off an autographed game-worn jersey and shoes from every Suns player. Just log on to Suns.com to bid. The auction runs until January 12th, with all proceeds benefiting Whispering Hope Ranch. Good luck. And to the line goes Jermaine Jones. Charlotte started the quarter 2 of 7 shooting. Since then, 5 of 8. This 5-0 run, but Jones misses the first free toss.
Well, weird game thus far. Is Suns dominating on the boards, 23-14, but Charlotte not known for their three-point shooting. 5 of 8 is the reason they're winning this game.
Charlotte comes in second in the league in offensive rebounds per game, but they have only 3 so far here as Kurt Thomas is hacked in the backcourt by Gerald Wallace. There's that tenacious defense by Charlotte, trying to force yet another Suns turnover. They have given it up 8 times so far here tonight. Eddie House returns for Phoenix. James Jones to the Suns pine. Primo Brezic's back for Charlotte.
Bobcats trying to slow down the Suns with full court pressure, double teaming Steve Nash in the backcourt, trying to get him to give it up, trying to get the steals, and that time got the foul. But their game plan is to slow him down and try to cause as many turnovers as possible.
Charlotte outscoring the Suns 20-11 here in the second quarter. The Suns are in a funk. Eddie House, top of the key. Wide right, rebound Gerald Wallace. Charlotte has 15 points off the Suns' turnovers here in the first half. Kareem Rush back out there as the shooting guard. Defended by House. To his left and down low. The reversal by Wallace. Brezic is there on the offensive glass, and Kurt Thomas now clears it to Nash. Nash back in charge for Phoenix. Trying to bring the Suns back into this game after Charlotte has dominated this second period. Kurt Thomas on his way to the hoop, and looks like a continuation call for Kurt Thomas.
Well, I like that patience on the break. They didn't have the break. Waited for Kurt Thomas on the secondary break. Did the pick and roll. Big man picked up Steve Nash. Left Kurt Thomas open for the jump shot. When they closed, he put it on the floor, got fouled.
Fairly generous continuation call there for Kurt Thomas. I don't know about you, Thunder Dan, but it looks like recently for Kurt Thomas, he has been hit with the curse of Big Daddy. A lot of foul difficulty for Kurt, and just seems to be drawing the attention of the officials game in and game out.
He really has, and it's frustrating because it's more of those ticky-tack fouls. We don't really hit anybody real hard, and Kurt Thomas has been a little frustrating, but I tell you, winning has eased the pain just a little bit.
Only 1 personal foul for Kurt Thomas so far here tonight. Kareem Rush, wide right. Boris Diaw, 4 personal fouls for Phoenix here in the first half. and that is why he is on the Suns bench. Matt Carroll floats it up, and another board for Kurt Thomas. See that pressure in the backcourt. Charlotte doing everything they can to thwart the Suns' fast break. Quickly up to Eddie House from Raja Bell. Absolutely for three for the howitzer, Eddie House.
The Suns are trying to get out and run and cause the turnover there this first time, but that time Eddie House outran everybody, got to the corner and got a wide open three.
Second made three-pointer here in the first half. Another $100 to Phoenix Suns Charities from AutoZone. Suns force the turnover themselves, and now Nash into hostile territory, trying to drive on Matt Carroll, and held and fouled there by Carroll. Kurt Thomas here in the first half already with 9 rebounds. 9 boards for Kurt Thomas to go along with his 6 points. Tied up at 43 after the Bobcats had taken a 5-point advantage. And with Charlotte in the penalty situation, Nash to the line and rips the cords on the first one. 95% from the line for Nash, number 1 in the league. He is number 2 in the Western Conference voting for all-star guards. Kobe Bryant number 1, Nash second, and a distant third, Manu Ginobili of the Spurs. Suns take the 2-point lead now after trailing by 5. They go on a 7-0 push. Kareem Rush hangs in the air, tapped off the glass, now tapped into the air, still a loose ball, into the hands of Rush, free to fire, comes up shy. Nash surveys the court, puts it in the hands of Eddie House. We've seen that combination quite a bit on this road trip. Nash and House together in the backcourt. Eddie setting up Marion, who goes for the crush, and is fouled there by Brezitz.
Well, beautiful job by Eddie House of creating a shot for Sean Marion, putting it on the floor, and a nice pass a la Steve Nash, and Sean goes up strong. You see House attacking the big guy, and then a wraparound pass, and Sean gets fouled hard there by Primo.
And he was bludgeoned as well by Matt Carroll from behind. So a couple of hard hits by the Bobcats. And here comes Sean Marion. Suns are led in scoring by Eddie House and his 12 points. Marion, the only other player so far in double figures with 10. And now Sean is 0 of 3 from the free throw line.
Still cold from the line, and Eli comes in. And I got to give you another stat on Eli that you may not know. His high school teammate, NFL's own Antoine Randall L.
Lovely. So we've got Dale Ellis and Antoine Randall. Oh, okay, got it. Keep it track. Navigating inside, Kareem Rush rolls off. Melvin Eli with the offensive rebound. Gets it over to Brezitz. Denied from behind, but fouled there by Raja Bell. And to the line will go Primo Brezitz.
Raja a little late on the weak side there, sinking down, but was able to get down and foul Primo before he laid it in. It's going to send him to the free throw line.
Fouled by Raja Bell. You, of course, know how he got the name Raja. Father's name was Roger. And in the Virgin Islands, sounds like Raja. We're killing him with information, aren't we? There's the Skywalker, David Thompson. Here's a great story. One time, I believe they put a dime on top of the backboard.
Wouldn't have made change, 2 nickels.
Very nice. Save $30 off single game pricing with the Suns 6-game packs. Choose from 2 great packs, both featuring marquee matchups with the defending NBA champion San Antonio Spurs. To pick up your 6-game pack full of high-flying Suns fun, call 602-379-SUNS or visit suns.com. Eddie House suffering from a little heat stroke here in Charlotte. Bobcats waving him last season. He's making them pay.
Well, you can't go under on Eddie House. I mean, that's what he does. Once again, they go under. Doesn't need much time at all, and nothing but twine for Eddie House. And then runs to that 3-point line, buries that one with Matt Carroll flying by. And says, Kurt, thanks for the pass. Eddie House picking it up on the road. You know, he started off early this year on fire at home and couldn't really buy a bucket here on the road. And now he's showed that he could do it a little away from home cooking.
Yep, 1 of 7 against the Wizards, but after the game, he walked up and said, you know what, hey, they didn't need my heroics tonight. Brezitz sticks them both. A deft touch at the line for the big 7'1" center who shoots 76% from the stripe. Double team in the backcourt on Nash, who bails out now to Marion. 2:35 to go until halftime. Suns lead is 1. House rising up and connecting in the face of Bogans.
This is safe to say he's feeling, because that was a tough shot. Bogans right in his face as he put it down to his right and nailed the jump shot.
House has put up 7 shots, nailed 5. 14 points now for the Howitzer. Brezitz drives on Marion and takes it to the 10th floor. How about the head fake, the dribble drive by Primo Brezitz?
Pretty exciting there for the big fella. Nice ball fake and got to the rack.
Sean Marion may hear about that from his teammates after this game. 7'1" Primo from the outside. Raja Bell absolutely for 3. Down it goes for Raja, and the Suns lead by 4 in the zone with AutoZone. Another $100 to Phoenix Suns Charities. Suns from far away now 3 of 8 shooting. 5 of 9 3-point range for the Bobcats. Brezitz cross court now. Bernard Robinson held and fouled by Raja Bell with 1:34 to go. Both teams in the penalty situation, so that will send Bernard Robinson to the stripe. You got anything for me on Bernard?
Let me see. All I can give you on Robinson is he just graduated from Michigan in sports management communications. That's all I got.
That's okay. No, that's not bad. Not bad. Let's go back to Primo. That's a Primo move.
That was a good move. Took it hard to the basket, and I think he shocked himself.
So much so he had to take a seat.
Robinson was on that Michigan team that won the NIT championship. I mean, this team over here at Bobcats got a lot of guys who were successful in college. Yep. They got all those guys that won the national championship at North Carolina. Got Jake and Okafor from Connecticut, and then kid from Michigan winning the NIT championship.
Yep. 4 players who won the NCAA title, like you mentioned. Okafor, Jake Voskuhl, and then Sean May and Felton last year for North Carolina. Direct hit from the outside by Kurt Thomas. He has the shooting eye here in the first half. 3 of 4 from the field, 8 points, 9 rebounds. Okafor, 13 points, 10 rebound average on the bench. Still recovering from that ankle injury. Eli looked like he may have dragged that pivot foot, and then Raja Bell shoving off on Robinson for the rebound, and a traveling violation there on Steve Nash, who comes up a little gimpy.
Where you can see these Bobcats really trying to squeeze the outlets, especially on Steve Nash. Bogut there snuck up on him. Didn't really allow Steve Nash to come down, and like you said, probably stepped on his ankle and turned that, stepped on Bogut's foot and turned that ankle a little bit. But they're really starting to squeeze that outlet, trying to slow down the Suns' fast break opportunities.
Hold your breath a little bit when you see Steve Nash possibly come away with a slight injury. 53-49 now, inside of a minute to go. Suns have turned the ball over 10 times here in the first half, and filling it up for 2, Keith Bogans. Once again, there's that backcourt pressure by the Bobcats. The Suns really one of the only teams who will run off a made basket, but they really have not been able to do that here tonight because of the backcourt pressure by the Bobcats. Beautiful roll there by Kurt Thomas. He's in double figures with 10.
Just off that pick and roll, everybody went with Steve, and Kurt Thomas rolled right down the center. Nobody picked him up. And Bogans, we all know, majored in agriculture at Kentucky, and he's planting the seed that he can shoot here tonight.
Oh my, can you keep this up for 2 halves of basketball?
We'll see.
Steve Nash, 9 points, 9 assists, and 8 rebounds into the lane, and earns a ticket to the line. How about those gaudy numbers by Nash here in the first half?
Well, Raymond Felton felt the wrath of Kurt Thomas as he got nailed on the blindside pick there and never saw him coming. Steve Nash attacked the basket and he got fouled.
So Nash to the line, and 55-51, just under 26 seconds to go, and a rare miss at the line for Nash. Let me correct those numbers for Nash. 9 points, 9 assists, he has 2 rebounds. And into the lineup now, Matt Carroll for Charlotte, and he will replace Melvin Eli. Mike D'Antoni counters with James Jones. Here for the final second. Stick around. Kevin Ray and Tom Chambers standing by back in Phoenix with the Verizon Wireless halftime report. Nash and the Suns now leading by 5. 3 Suns players, 4 Suns players now in double figures. House with 14 leading the way, Marion 11, Thomas and Nash both with 10. Brezitz leading the Bobcats, he has 10. 1 second separating the game clock from the shot clock. Marion on the switch, covering Felton, meets him at the top. But the foul on Sean Marion of Phoenix, and Felton to the line with 4.1 to go here in the first half.
Well, Felton off the pick and roll. Sean Marion switched. Very aggressive, took it to the basket, so great body control there, caused the contact by Sean Marion and threw it up off the board to go to the free throw line. See, realized he had Sean on, went to his left. Nice spin move, jumps into Sean, causes the contact, and throws it off the glass. Good move by the rookie from North Carolina.
And your thoughts when Raymond Felton was selected 5th overall out of North Carolina, 3 seasons with the Tar Heels, and Bernie Bickerstaff going with the young point guard with that 5th overall pick.
I don't think it was a good move. I mean, Sean May, a teammate, they take later in the round, I think 13th, and they got 2 big men in Okafor and Sean May, and probably decided they need a point guard to run the show. And you talked about you need a good point guard to be successful. He looks like he's going to be a good one.
Raja Bell to end the first half comes up just shy, and we are done with 2 quarters of play here at Charlotte Bobcats Arena. Suns outscoring Charlotte 27-23 in that second quarter, and Eddie House with 12 points in the period, and the Suns head to the locker room leading by 3. Kevin Ray, Tom Chambers standing by. Halftime report coming up next from Phoenix. Tom Leander, Dan Marley back with you from Charlotte, North Carolina. Suns outscore the Bobcats 27-23 in the first. Bobcats outscore the Suns 30-29 in the second. Suns leading here at the break 56-53. And Dan, we talked at the outset about the Suns trying to tell their players, hey, be ready for the pressure. And I really felt it was the backcourt pressure that was applied by the Bobcats on Steve Nash and the Suns. It helped force 10 turnovers in the first half against the Suns, leading to 17 points by Charlotte.
Charlotte's done a fantastic job of limiting the Suns' fast break points. Only 3 in that first half, and you're right, they're really pressuring Steve Nash in the backcourt, double teaming him, making him give up the ball. So, you know, it comes down to turnovers. This team likes to force a lot of turnovers, and they had 17 points, like you said, off the turnovers, and that's their game, to come out and force you into turnovers and play hard. So the Suns, even though they're in the lead here, have to continue to play hard.
The scratching and clawing Bobcats. We take a look now at the winners board, brought to you by Gila River Casinos, where the winners play. And let's begin with the Phoenix Suns. And you see Steve Nash's numbers, 9 assists so far in this game. And Kurt Thomas, 10 points, 9 boards. Eddie House has 14 of the Suns' 16 bench points.
Coming off a lot of the pick and rolls, and Primo doing a good job for the Bobcats there with the 10 points, and Bogan shooting well from the three-point line. And you know, they're not known for a three-point shooting team, but was pretty effective at 5 for 9 from behind the line. The Suns only took 9 in that first half, making 3.
27 bench points for the Bobcats, 16 for Phoenix, and we begin the third quarter here now. Brevin Knight started the game at the point guard position again after spraining his ankle in their last game here at home against the Chicago Bulls. Brezic's ambushed there by Marion and Boris Diaw, still on the floor. Is it a travel or a timeout? Shot clock explodes on the Bobcats, and that's the violation. They'll give it to Phoenix.
Good scrambling defense there by the Suns. They double team Eli in the post and then got their hands on the ball as they tried to penetrate, and ended up the shot clock running out.
All right, so there was a change, Dano. We were looking at the personal foul situation, and we'll have to check again. The stats that we were given at halftime says 4 personal fouls for Boris Diaw, but now the stats here at the scores table says 3. We will try to clarify that because there was a real question as to how many personal fouls Boris Diaw actually had in the first half.
Let's try to straighten this thing out because I'm lost right now.
I'm lost looking at this eye chart here, the stat monitor. It's tough getting old. So yes, officially 3 personal fouls on Boris Diaw. Suns have it out of bounds. Raja Bell, Steve Nash, Kurt Thomas, Boris, and Sean Marion, the starting 5 for Phoenix. Out there to begin the second half. Marion behind the line, going deep for 3. Down it goes for Sean Marion. In the zone with AutoZone, $100 to Phoenix Suns Charities.
Well, that time looked like they decided to play the pick and roll different. That time they didn't switch. They allowed Knight to go under and get back to Steve Nash. They still was able to find Sean Marion open for the 3 in the corner.
Kareem Rush driving to his left, loses the ball momentarily, regroups, finds Gerald Wallace. And Gerald Wallace sticks it from the outside. Suns on the run, and Gerald Wallace up and over the front row, under the hoop, and then up to about the 10th row.
Boy, he figured he made a jumper, he might as well leave the building.
Fans love the hustle, the commitment to effort, according to the head coach, Bernie Bickerstaff.
There you see that perfect jumper of his, and one of the few guys that probably can catch Sean Marion on the break, because this guy's very athletic. Good hustle, as you said, got back and tipped that ball out of bounds.
Very versatile, very athletic, as you mentioned, these Bobcat players. Boris Diaw into the lane, pitch it out to Marion for another 3 attempt. Can't get this one. Nash trying to tap it back. And finally, here comes Kareem Rush. Comes in averaging 13.5 points per game. That's tops on this Bobcats team. Rajabell still with a defensive assignment on Rush, who so far here tonight has just 4 points. Brezit steps back, hits the top of the backboard, and now Nash and the Suns. Still slowed down by that transition defense by Charlotte. Yeah, whips it over to Marion. In the face of Eli, too strong, misses everything. Marion now 6 of 11 shooting on the evening. He's just 1 of 4 at the line. Suns as a team come in shooting 46% from the field. Wallace, not pretty either. And now Nash looks ahead. Marion was sprinting up along with Rajabell, but now back in the half-court set. There's that switch over again. We've seen this time and time again. Brezit's on Nash. It's Diaw against Knight, and now Rajabell going deep for 3. Absolutely for Rajabell. Second three-pointer by the Suns here in the third. Another $100 to Suns Charities. And a timeout by the Bobcats and Bernie Bickerstaff. Looks like a 20-second timeout. So no commercial, no mercy.
Well, I think he was talking about the pick and roll there. The first couple times they didn't switch. At that time they did switch. It would allow Boris Diaw to get in the post with a mismatch, forcing them to double team, and that's why he was able to pass out to a wide open Rajabell. So Bernie was like, that's not the way we talked about it at halftime. They've decided to go underneath and get back on Steve Nash instead of switching and causing the mismatch with the big guy.
Inhale Life 20-second breather brought to you by the Arizona Department of Health Services, and reminds you to inhale life and be tobacco-free. For information on how to quit smoking, call 800-556-6222 or visit ashline.org.
What was that number?
I'm very disappointed. Let that Timothy Robbins line go right past Brevin.
I hardly ever listen to you. What did you say?
Brevin Knight's going to the line for 2.
No, about the what? The Robbins line?
No commercial, no mercy.
Oh. It still went over my head. I don't know what you're talking about.
Come on, Anchorman, Mr. Anchorman. Broadcasting Bloodfest. That's right. Oh, you knew all the lines. So there is the one-time Stanford Cardinal, Brevin Knight at the line. A very reliable free throw shooter, just under 80% from the stripe this season. It's now a 5-point advantage for the Suns. Nash suffocated over there by Eli and Knight, and here's Marion with the floater with the right hand for the matrix, Sean Marion.
And that's how you attack a double team. Steve Nash, as soon as he crossed the half-court line, was double teamed. You got to space the floor, find the open guy, and move without the basketball. Good pass by Boris Diaw.
The key to breaking the pressure, not so much dribbling, have to pass past it. And from the outside, it's Brevin Knight for the Bobcats. And Brevin Knight here this evening now with 6 points and 4 assists. Steve Nash, the only player in the NBA with more assists last season than Brevin Knight. And how about the contact there between Knight and Nash? Scrambling for the loose ball, and slow to get up now is Brevin Knight.
Yeah, well, when Steve hit the floor, got a little wet, and Knight went after the basketball, and his foot slipped out. It looks like he pulled his groin, but here's CC's hustling after the ball. He's going to slip in and watch Brevin Knight's foot slip and pull the groin. He wasn't doing lunges in the press room like you were, Tom, to stretch out that groin area.
That'll teach you, especially as you get on in age, as Brevin Knight is. And that was one of the reasons why this Bobcats team drafted Raymond Felton for their point guard of the future. Nash for 3, back iron, rebound Diaw. Unselfishly looked over to Marion, and now the Suns reset. Nash into the lane, contact, will they give him the hoop? Will they give him the hoop? They say on the floor, and Mike D'Antoni is irate over here.
You see Nash put it to his left, get to the basket, and that looks like it should have been continuation, as he didn't put the ball on the floor after the foul.
D'Antoni still venting, and it's Diaw from the outside, too strong. Suns back in transition. Knight feeds it over to Kareem Rush. Three-pointer. Got it for Kareem Rush and the Bobcats. Right back they come to within 2.
Well, Knight found the right guy as the Suns hurried back to protect the basket. Kareem Rush with the wide open 3.
Diao against 2 defenders, goes to the weak side, and the baby hook high off the window for 3D.
That was a pretty move as he faked middle, went back with the right hand, high off the glass, and Steve Nash is called for the reacher.
Trying to fight through the pick, hanging onto the jersey, and picks up his 2nd personal foul.
Watch Boris here as he's going to fake going to the middle and then goes away from the double team with the little baby hook on the right hand and high off the glass. And I think
your guy, Joe Forte, has teed up Mike D'Antoni. I think he has heard enough. Still complaining about the non-continuation call for Steve Nash. And Brevin Knight cannot connect on the free throw. Charlotte now 12 of 14 at the line. The Suns have also been in the line 14 times and have hit 9. So Phoenix's lead is 4 here with 7:40 to go in the 3rd quarter. Low block, it's Eli. Double team help, Nash along with Kurt Thomas, and now they go weak side to Kareem Rush. Rises up in the face of Raja Bell, who's hit with a personal.
But we saw early in the game that Raja got away with a few of those fouls early, nicking the guy in the arm when he went for the jump shot. May not have got it this time, but was called for the foul anyway as Kareem Rush puts it on the floor and Raja gets up and puts his hands on his face. And they say he made contact in the elbow, which is, for me, it's hard to believe because when you hit somebody in the elbow when you're shooting, it hardly ever is able to go in.
And Raja had a real problem with that call by Leroy Richardson. Unable to capitalize on the 3-point play, though, and the Suns now have it with a 2-point advantage. Nash wants to run the 2-man game with Marion. Marion rolls, takes the feed. Snuffed out there by Brezitz. Ball goes out of bounds, turnover Phoenix. And that is the Suns' 12th turnover here tonight. Phoenix Suns started this season 4-5. Since that time, Nash and the Suns have gone 13-5 and now stand at 7 games over 500. Nash hits the wood. Inside Brezitz. Pass Boris Diaw, who may have gotten a piece of that.
Well, just lost sight of the big man and nobody was over there on the weak side and he just got an easy layup.
Tied up at 66. Nash from the outside, the friendly bounce here in Charlotte for Steve Nash.
Good back pick by Boris Diaw, and even Steve Nash was a little surprised at that roll as he got the friendly bounce.
Nash now with a dozen to go along with his 10 assists. Strong move right down the lane for Kareem Rush. Nash lays it up. Marion comes crashing down. Assist number 11 for Steve Nash.
Well, too easy on the defensive end. You can't allow Kareem Rush to go to a strong hand on the left, especially to the middle, get all the way to the basket. But the Suns don't hang their heads and they push the ball. And Nash with a beautiful lob to Marion.
That was Suns basketball right there. Right down the throat of the Bobcats. Eli. Left-handed hook is an air ball. Solid defense there by Kurt Thomas. Nash looks ahead, finds Raja Bell behind the line. And the rebound to Eli. And now here come the Bobcats, a 2-on-2 opportunity. Rush pulls up. Off the mark. And another rebound for Kurt Thomas in double figures with 10. Suns come in first place in the Pacific Division. And an offensive foul there on Kurt Thomas, trying to set the pick to spring Steve Nash. And we have a timeout, 5:36 to go here in quarter number 3. Suns going for win number 3 on the road trip. Moments ago, Sean Marion with another cram here in Charlotte. And he and the Suns holding on to a 2-point lead over the Bobcats. From the outside, out of that timeout, it's Kareem Rush. Scramble for the rebound as James Jones is checked in for Phoenix. Out of that timeout. Losing it on the dribble is Rush. Nash scoops it up. Trying trying to set up Boris Diaw. Looked like there was contact. Looked like he was hitting the side of the head. No call and a traveling violation there on James Jones.
Well, I agree. Raja Bell that time took away Kareem Rush's left hand, caused a turnover, and Nash to Boris Diaw. Look, he took it hard to the basket, got hit in the side of the head, no call. Made the pass, Suns got called for the travel and another turnover.
70-68 Phoenix. Bobcats outscoring the Suns 15-14 so far here in the third. Remember, they put 30 points on the board in the second quarter. Brezitz very upset that he didn't get a call. Nash now pulling it back on Felton. Drives. Dishes to Diaw. And a 3-second violation on Phoenix.
Called on Sean Marion. I think Sean was trying to get in there thinking Steve Nash is either going to pass it to him or take it and put it up on the basket. No such luck. And again, the 15th turnover for the Suns, and that's where these Bobcats make their living off other teams' turnovers.
Suns off to Chicago following this game here in Charlotte, and then wrap up the road trip in New York on Monday night before heading back home to take on AI and the 76ers next Wednesday evening. Here comes Raymond Felton. Loses it momentarily, regroups and scores.
We talked about him earlier, and he asked me if he was a good draft choice, and I failed to mention it. Both him and Sean May, North Carolina products, so I'm sure that really helped the PR department in the ticket sales as being local heroes here at the college.
Nice local touch, bringing those two heels in. Here in North Carolina, Nash trying to split the defenders and then tipping it over to Bell. The scrappy defense by Charlotte, 2 on the shot clock, and Nash will go to the line for 2.
Bernie Bickerstaff is not happy there as he felt his Bobcats did a good job defending the Suns there, and Nash may have got bailed out with 2 seconds on the shot clock with a hand check as he went up for the jump shot.
Nash sticks the first one. Phoenix Suns come in second in the NBA in point differential this season, trailing only the Detroit Pistons. The Pistons now 24-3 on the season, matching the Suns start of a year ago. And the Pistons have also won 9 straight, matching the Suns winning streak of earlier this season, which is the longest so far in the NBA. From the outside, now it's Bogans. Off the rim, boarded there by Marion. Diaz setting the screen for Nash, but it's an obstacle course out there for Nash. Weaving past players in the corner now, James Jones. Corner pocket 3 for James Jones. In the zone with AutoZone, another $100 to Phoenix Suns charities. The lead is 5. The Suns now have plugged 6 3-pointers.
Well, good spacing by the Suns. Sean Marion, credit him with the bucket as he threw just a quick pass to James Jones in the corner. Gerald Wallace actually flew into the crowd trying to get out to James Jones.
Diaw hits the accelerator. Marion cleans up at the 10th floor.
And that's what you like to see out of Boris Diaw, being very aggressive. Even though he didn't make the shot, he caused that bucket by going hard to the basket. Sean was able to collect offensive rebound and slam it down.
And those are the run and stun Suns. Diaw flips it up. Marion puts a lid on it. Timeout here in Charlotte. C'est magnifique. Phoenix Suns with their biggest lead. They are up by 7 here in the third quarter. Time now for tonight's APS power matchup. APS, the power to make it happen. Miami and Washington going at it. The Wizards coming off that loss at home to the Suns in the fourth. Miami leading by 3. Wade has 24. Arenas with 44. He struggled mightily with his shot in that game against the Suns.
Saved it for the Heat. Arenas going off there with 44. And some guy just asked his fiancée to marry him in the crowd there. Tom, I give it a 50-50 chance.
The marriage counselor, Thunder Dan, laying it up, cramming it home. Brevin Knight with the assist to Gerald Wallace.
Yeah, caught James Jones napping on the weak side. Gerald Wallace, a great athlete, just backdoor, and much like Sean Marion, just throw it anywhere near the rim, and it's going to happen. This is the first time we haven't seen this play work in a long time. Diaw pick and roll with Sean Marion.
Hogan's fouled on his way to the hoop, and he'll go to the line for 2.
And as they do so often, the Bobcats off a turnover get out and run, and allowing Bogan to get to the free throw line. Here you're going to see the alley-oop as James Jones is caught napping, and Gerald Wallace goes way up. And then off the turnover, Bogan's all the way hard to the rim and gets fouled by Boris Diaw.
And so Bogan steps to the stripe, 25-year-old, third year out of Kentucky. Actually spent his rookie season in Orlando with the Magic off the mark. And here comes Jermaine Jones to replace Primo Brezitz. Suns lead is 5, 2:38 to go here in the third quarter. This Bobcats team just will not go away. And you knew coming in, because of their ranking and all those hustle stats and steals and offensive rebounds, points off turnovers, that they would come out here clawing against the Suns. They have done exactly that. Felton defensively now on Nash. Switched over, and now it's Jermaine Jones covering Nash inside of 10 on the shot clock. Not much going offensively for Phoenix on this possession. Nash choked off there, nearly double dribble. Boris Diaw to James Jones, Marion tipping, and the Suns get the hoop. Charlotte felt that James Jones didn't get the shot off in time.
You know what, they're right. I mean, he didn't get that off in time. It was after the shot clock, but lucky for the Suns, they didn't call it. Sean Marion in there to corral the offensive rebound. Steve Nash with the turnover here with the steal.
Sean Marion now has 22 points on the evening. He has 11 here in the third period. Nash tracked there by Brevin Knight, hacked and fouled, and let's see if Nash will get a couple of free throws. Yes. And for Brevin Knight now, personal foul number 4. Eddie House checks in for Phoenix, and he replaces Boris Diaw. Boris to the Suns bench has 10 rebounds and 8 points here so far tonight. Mike D'Antoni picked up that 100th win in the victory over the Washington Wizards, and you see the company. John McLeod, Cotton, Paul Westphal, Danny Ainge, and Scott Skiles. 116 victories with the Phoenix Suns. And once again, heading to Chicago to meet up with Skiles and the Bulls. They have lost 5 straight, and word is out of Chicago, Scott Skiles has put the Bulls through a couple of days. Pretty tough practices. Sean Marion defensively, but too tough to handle down in the block there, Gerald Wallace.
Sean had that look in his face like, you kidding me? He just threw that up. That was right in his face, and he was right. That was a tough shot for Gerald Wallace to hit.
Quick fire by Eddie House, boarded there again by Gerald Wallace. I wonder if Sacramento questioning themselves for giving up on Gerald Wallace a little too quickly. They left him unprotected in the expansion draft. Wallace now feeding it out to Bogan for 3. And Charlotte back to within 3.
Well, you sure don't expect this out of the Charlotte team, shooting a better percentage and more threes than the Suns here tonight.
45 seconds to go in the third quarter. Nash, right past Jermaine Jones, hits the wood, and out of the fray comes Gerald Wallace and the Bobcats on a 4-on-2 break. Bogans along the baseline past Sean Marion, and the strong finish by Bogans, following up with his three-pointer.
Well, Bogan's taking advantage of a Steve Nash miss, runs down hard, turns down the 3, puts his head down, gets all the way to the lane. Nobody from the weak side for the Suns there to stop him.
Suns 8-point lead, now down to 1, thanks to a 7-0 push by the Bobcats. Raja Bell, back over to House, in the corner, junior, James Jones, can't get it. 10 seconds to go in the quarter. Charlotte can take the lead going to the 4th and final period. Inside, ripped out of there by James Jones. And we are headed to the 4th quarter with the Phoenix Suns leading by 1. When the Suns lead after 3 quarters of play, they are 13-2, Thunder Dan.
Well, let's sure hope that holds up as they lead by 1 here going into the 4th. So much for getting these guys at rest. We knew this Bobcat team would be tough.
And they outscore the Suns 27-25 in that third quarter. You are watching Phoenix Suns basketball on UPN 45.
Welcome back to the aptly named Charlotte Bobcats Arena. And score 81-80. And let's check tonight's Jack in the Box inside the back score quickly. Look at those rebounds, 40-21, but Suns only up by 1.
Pressure again in the backcourt by the Bobcats. Suns bringing it into the front court. Raja Bell, Boris Diaw, James Jones, Kurt Thomas, and Eddie House. The 5 on the floor. Eddie House in and out. Remember, the first 2 games on this road trip, Suns gave up a 7-0 run to begin the quarter in Minnesota. And then Washington scored the first 10 of the fourth quarter. See how the Suns begin this period. Driving move there by Bernard Robinson. Here comes House and Phoenix.
The Suns have 3 guys in double figures in rebound, led by Kurt Thomas at 11. But you know, we talked about earlier, Bobcats doing a good job behind the arc with 7 for 12 from 3-pointers, which really have kept these guys in the game.
Diao held and fouled on his way to the hoop. And you look at those fourth quarter lapses by the Suns, and me thinks it's not a coincidence that Steve Nash normally begins the fourth quarter on the Suns bench.
Me thinks that's too.
And there he is. Actually not on the Suns bench.
Maybe it's because he takes a nap.
Yeah.
Before the...
Still resting that back. Those hamstrings have been holding up so far this season for Nash and the Suns. Can ill afford another injury. Again, still playing without Amari Stoudemire and Leandro Barbosa Jr. from the outside. And the rebounder, Raymond Felton. And coming off the bench tonight for Bernie Bickerstaff. He's out there along with Matt Carroll off the bench for Charlotte. Crazy shot by Felton, rebounded by Kurt Thomas. Rajabel along the baseline, the floater rolls off. Scrap there between Kurt Thomas and Bogans. And I believe Kurt Thomas is hit with a personal. And for Kurt, that is now number 3. Suns have 3 players with a double-double, including Kurt Thomas.
There's Kurt fighting off 4 Bobcats and gets called for the off-arm push, but we're right where we didn't want to be start of the game. Coming in the fourth quarter, Bobcats still in it. This is the area where these teams think they can win, especially here at home.
Charlotte turns it over. Rajabel and the Suns trying to turn it into a pair, if not a 3. Raja now still out behind the line along with Eddie House. And away from the ball, Kurt Thomas in a tussle with Matt Carroll, and it's Carroll hit with the personal. You know, it's a slow process for these expansion teams, Dan. And for the Bobcats last season, they won 18 games, lost 64. The most wins in the first season for an expansion team for the last 8 expansion teams was 22. 22 wins in the first year for Minnesota. So Charlotte not too far off with the 18 last season. In the second season, most wins, 31 by Orlando as Eddie House with the direct hit for Phoenix.
Yeah, you think about that, all these young kids coming in after winning national championships, not used to losing, coming to their first professional team and losing that many games. Something you got to get used to.
Bernie Bickerstaff has put some very hungry players out there on the court. You can see it in their eyes, in their actions. And that is a hungry move by Bernard Robinson. Brevin Knight to return for the Bobcats at the next break. House, hounded by Robinson, is talking to him the entire way, saying, I'm not going anywhere, neither is my team. Arch deluxe by Bell, jerked out of there by Jermaine Jones, and then stolen by Kurt Thomas. Eddie House, quick fire, the howitzer nails it. Couple of buckets here in the fourth quarter by Eddie House.
Well, don't give him 2 chances. Missed the first one. Good hustle by Kurt Thomas to get that outlet pass and found the hot guy in House who nailed it. But got to give it to these Bobcats. Been very aggressive. Bernie Bickerstaff doesn't want them to take a lot of jump shots. He wants them to get to the line and be aggressive and go into the basket, and that's what they've been doing.
10 wins so far this season for the Bobcats. Their 10th win last year came on February 1st. Jermaine Jones got it for 3.
Well, him and Kareem Rush are the 2 better shooters on this team, so in that, he just set the pick and popped and was able to knock down the jump shot.
Second most experienced player on this team, Jermaine Jones. Second to Brevin Knight. Blocking foul there on Felton. And a timeout with 8:48 to go. The Suns will have it, but Jermaine Jones loading up for 3. The Suns and Bobcats all tied up at 85. Back here in Charlotte, Suns and Bobcats all tied up. Check out special offers on Southwest.com for the latest and greatest in air, car, and hotel deals. Very confident move moments ago by Bernard Thompson. And the Bobcats trying to pull off a stunning victory here over the Suns.
Yeah, you have to give a credit to the bench of the Bobcats. 40 points off that bench left by Keith Bogans leading that bench barrage, and really the only guy stepping up for the Phoenix Suns is Eddie House, who has 18. James Jones really struggled here tonight, only 1 for 10, but he's been able to hit some big shots early in this road trip in the fourth quarter. Let's hope he can do that again here, but that Bobcat bench has been big.
Look at a Suns flashback. Calling Bernard Robinson, Bernard Thompson, former Suns player. Of course, that is Robinson, and this Bobcats team came in horrific shooting numbers on the season, but 8 of 13 three-point shooting, 61.5% from deep tonight for the Bobcats. House, defended by Jones, takes him on the dribble and stuffed there by Matt Carroll. Back the other way is Bogans. Strong move on Boris Diaw. Keith Bogans with a serious jolt off the Bobcats bench.
Well, beautiful defense by Matt Carroll from the weak side. They treated that much like a turnover, got out and run, and Bogans again takes it hard to the rack.
And he has given the Bobcats the 2-point lead. 8:20 to go here in the fourth. Bogans off the bench with 16, but Eddie House on fire once again for Phoenix off the pine, now with 20 for Eddie House.
Can't keep a good man down.
Third field goal already in the quarter for House. Brevin Knight, soft touch in the lane.
Well, took advantage of the switch on the pick and roll, much like Steve Nash does. You had Boris Diaw that time went into the paint, caused some contact, felt like he was fouled, but still was able to knock down the shot.
Brevin Knight, second in the NBA in steals, watches Nash drive right past him, right to the cylinder. Tied up once again, now at 89. Suns in a serious dogfight here tonight in Charlotte. Nash, size disadvantage against Jermaine Jones. They go back to Jones, hand in the face from Nash. Solid defense there by Steve Nash.
Yeah, very solid. First Nash was in the post, got a double team, then Steve closed out, got his hand in the face like you said, and then pushed the ball, attacked the basket, got fouled.
That's great defense, too. You put your hand right between the two arms of the shooter. You don't create any contact, but you certainly thwart the shot attempt. Watch the hand of Steve Nash right between the arms. It's Jones again covering Nash. Right down Main Street for Steve Nash, dissecting the defense, this time with his own offensive skills. And Nash now with 20 points for Phoenix.
And that's all like Steve Nash, aggressive when he gets switched off with the bigger guy on him. There's nobody out there that can stop him, and he just continues to get to the basket. Nobody from the weak side lays it in.
They tried to lob it up for Jermaine Jones, results in a turnover for Charlotte. They have now coughed it up 14 times, the Suns 16. Nash creating all sorts of mayhem for the Charlotte defense, and the foul there. And that will go against Brevin Knight. And for Brevin Knight now, number 5.
Brevin Knight upset again because he didn't see Boris Diaw come to pick up, blindsided. Didn't know what to do. Steve Nash split the pick and once again got to the free throw line.
And with 6:46 to go here in the fourth quarter, Bobcats already in the penalty situation. Nash to the line. We're so far tonight 8 of 9. On this road trip, Nash averaging 22 points, 14 assists, shooting 54% from the field. And more big numbers posted by the reigning MVP. 22 and 11 so far. Suns on a 6-0 run. It's been all Steve Nash. This is where you can start to see some of the inexperience show for a team like the Bobcats. Brevin Knight nearly had the steal. Eddie House comes up short. There's James Jones on the offensive glass. Hits the wood, and a late whistle on Jermaine Jones.
5 players, 18,000 fans didn't agree with that call, but Bobcats being very energetic in there, getting their hand on the ball. Eddie House happens to find it, shot it. James Jones comes from the weak side. He's able to get the rebound, got hit, fell down and got the call, but Bernie Bickerstaff thought it was a flop.
And every foul rest of the way will send Phoenix to the line. And here comes James Jones, talking to Mike D'Antoni before the game. He is just in love with his young player, James Jones, especially the intelligence that he brings to the game. And he said James Jones is the type of player that is going to get better year after year.
Let's hope he gets better in the next 6 minutes, because he hasn't been able to shoot the ball real well here tonight. Knocks that one down, but he's done a good job in this road trip, like I said before, of hitting key shots at key moments.
You're right, he has really misfired on numerous occasions here tonight. Just 1 of 10 from the field for James Jones. There is Jermaine Jones filling it up and making it a 2-point game halfway through the 4th quarter. Nash in a tussle there with Brevin Knight. Eddie House turns and fires. What a shot by Eddie House. How did he even see the basket? Back comes Matt Carroll. Quick shot. Not sure if his coach will like that one.
Well, that's a second ill-advised shot by Matt Carroll. First of 3, and that tried to go 1-on-4. But how many times have we seen this from House? Just bringing these Suns back with tough shots.
Nash floats it up. Can't float it in as Bogans hit the wood. Carroll now whips it over on the perimeter to Jones. Brevin Knight to Bogans. Drives past Nash. The finger roll for Bogans. And his productive night off the bench continues, now with 18 points.
Very productive. Not only has been able to hit the outside shot, he's been very good going to the basket, but Steve has been doing this all night. Finds a hot man.
And down it goes for the howitzer. The three-pointer. And it's the game within the game. Eddie House against Keith Bogans. The 2 bench stars here tonight. House with 26, Bogans has 18. Jermaine Jones in and out, rebounded by Eddie House. And then points over to the Suns bench. Plays with so much swagger and confidence. Diao into the corner, Jr. for 3, absolutely, for James Jones, the big shot.
That's what I'm talking about. We saw this in Minnesota, first House, and then James Jones talking about having a good productive night as far as shooting, but it's another big 3 in the left corner. But the House is on fire again.
Eddie House lighting it up from the outside off the dish from Nash, and then James Jones, who was 1 of 10 from the field. It just didn't matter. Straight and sweet. And the Suns' lead is 9. Suns with their biggest lead, up 9. Captain Dan Marley. Tonight's High Flyers presented by Southwest Airlines, official airline of the NBA. Southwest Airlines, a symbol of freedom.
Diao to Marion, then Primo. Nash to Marion. Wallace. Very nice for the athletic forward, and then Diao again. It goes hard, and Sean's there to finish it up on the offensive end, but some clutch shooting by the Suns here in the 4th.
And the Suns with their patented spurt here in the 4th on a 16-5 run.
The spurt ability.
Triggered by Eddie House, James Jones, Steve Nash. And Nash coming out of the crowd with the ball. No look behind the back to Diao, who lopes into the front court. Inside of 4 minutes to go, 4th quarter. So similar, these first 3 road games. Suns struggling to begin the 4th quarter and then turning on the Jets. Diao, another offensive rebound for Phoenix. Eddie House couldn't get this one, and Matt Carroll jerks away the rebound.
I like that recognition by Diao. Got the offensive rebound. Instead of taking a bad shot, threw it back out to Nash and threw it to the wide open Eddie House, and you thought it was going to go down.
Back iron for Felton. Rebound into the corner, out of bounds, and they'll give it to the Bobcats. Phenomenal job, though, on the boards by the Suns all night long. Out-rebounding the Bobcats by 16. They have 13 offensive rebounds in this game. And here comes the gunslinger, Kareem Rush, to replace Matt Carroll. Suns trying to improve to 8-4 on the road this season. Take the first 3 on this road trip before heading to Chicago and New York. Next up for the Bobcats, they're in Oklahoma City to meet up with the Hornets on Monday night. Kareem Rush, fresh off the bench, comes out cold. Nash with 13 assists so far here tonight. Kicks that one over to Raja Bell, still loose on the floor. Scooped up by Eli.
Well, poor job by Boris Diaw. He's got to do a better job of getting in there and setting that pick on the pick and roll. He's not really making any contact for Steve Nash. And then you see the hustler, Sean Marion, getting his hand on the ball and causing the turnover. But Boris has got to do a better job of making contact on that pick and roll so Steve couldn't get to the basket.
Sean Marion's defensive hustle will give the Suns the ball with 2:57 to go, still leading by 9. (103-94) Phoenix here in the fourth, and now you have 41 million reasons to play Powerball. Saturday's jackpot an estimated $41 million. Get your tickets today, and don't forget to check for the winning numbers at ArizonaLottery.com. Now it's time for tonight's Powerball Power Play. It's the Howitzer in the fourth.
Oh, this is something we're still getting used to. Eddie House getting the job done here in the fourth, and here at the Charlotte Bobcat Arena, no changes. He is just lit a fire under this Phoenix Suns team to a 9-point lead here in the fourth.
26 points so far for Eddie House in this ball game. Again, the ball goes out of bounds. Phoenix still in possession with 2:55 to go. Bobcats so far 94 points on the board. The Suns are 15-3 when they hold their opponent under 100 points. They're having trouble getting it over midcourt right now.
Well, full court press by the Bobcats, and the Suns are just catching it, and they got to secure the balls. These guys are going to start hacking and trying to steal everything.
Marion now lands Diaw, and it's Nash. Stolen from behind there by Gerald Wallace. Suns milking the shot clock, but now need to attack. It's Diaw right down Main Street for 3D. Big hoop. The Suns lead is now 11.
And that's what Boris has to do. He has to be aggressive, especially when they double team Steve Nash. He has the ability to put the ball on the floor and take it all the way to the basket for his size.
What a weapon. Have a 6'8" player. Defend, block shots, put it on the floor, improving on his outside shot. And a foul there on Steve Nash of Phoenix. And that will result in 2 shots for Brevin Knight.
You see Boris Diaw using those point guard skills, just putting the ball on the floor and lowering his head and gets all the way to the rim and lays it in. And that's going to be there for Boris as this Bobcat team wants to take the ball out of Steve Nash's hands as much as possible.
Suns now 4 players who have registered a double-double in this game. Diaw now in double-figure scoring with 10 points, has 12 rebounds and 5 assists. Couple of free throws there by Brevin Knight. Lead is back to 9. Nash and Diaw in the backcourt. And Diaw hit and foul there by Brevin Knight, and he has been DQ'd from the game. That is number 6 on Brevin Knight. And he checks out. 10 points, 10 assists for the veteran Brevin Knight.
Well, gutty performance for him. Didn't even know if he's going to play with that ankle. So came in, did a good job, and has those 10 assists, which he's really good at. One of the better Bobcats players who does a good job running this team.
And Charlotte going without Emeka Okafor, and Bernie Bickerstaff has told the media he doesn't want to talk anymore about injuries. There's been a glut of injuries for this Bobcats team. When asked about Okafor and when he might return, he said, "Don't ask." So really no telling when Okafor will return for this team. Bosco, who's missed 21 games with his assortment of injuries. Diaw at the line, and with 2:10 to go, the Suns lead 106-96. One of the goals was to try and get a little bit of rest for Nash and Marion. Hasn't really happened because of this tenacious Bobcats team, which gave the Suns all they can handle here tonight. Marion has again played 40-plus minutes in this one. Nash has registered 37 thus far. And no resting for the Suns team. Back at it tomorrow night in Chicago against a pumped-up Bulls team trying to end a 5-game skid. Scott Skiles has said that he may tweak the lineup a bit there in Chicago, adjust playing time following this run of losses by the Bulls. And again, putting the team through a couple of arduous workouts the last couple of days in Chicago. Into the front court. Diao whips it ahead to Raja Bell. Minute 50 and counting here in the fourth quarter for Phoenix. Eyeing win number 18 on the season. Go 8 games over 500 and increase their lead in the Pacific Division. Nash on the move. Teardrop off the window for Steve Nash. A thing of beauty.
Yeah, you really like that. Caused by Boris Diaw. Again, getting to the basket for the beautiful pass all the way out to Raja Bell and gave it to Steve Nash. And just penetrated with the spacing on the floor, was able to lay it in.
Front iron for Kareem Rush. Nash now 24 points, 13 assists, and 5 rebounds. But he has had to work for those points and assists. Hounded all night long by the Bobcat defenders.
You got to give the Suns credit, doing a yeoman's job on the board, especially down on the defensive end, not allowing this Bobcat team a lot of offensive rebounds.
1 minute to go. Here from Charlotte Bobcats Arena. Bogans trying to spoon feed it inside to Felton, and a foul over the top on Eddie House of Phoenix. And now it's time to check the Banner Health injury report. And here you have it for the Suns. Barbosa back in Phoenix, mending that sprained knee. Stoudemire here on the road trip, and Brian Grant back in Phoenix following his knee surgery. And the lengthy list for Charlotte: Okafor, Sean May, Voskuhl, Brevin Knight, who did play Kareem Rush, returned after a 4-game absence.
One shot.
And there is the dapper stat. As Felton at the line, 108-97 Phoenix. And a rebound for Sean Marion. Going to win this one here tonight over the Bobcats. And then it's New Year's Eve in Chicago. Marion with the crush off the Diao feed. A little icing on the Suns' cake here from Charlotte. They have the 4th best overall record in the NBA. Suns continue to amaze and surprise many of these so-called experts who felt they'd be lucky to reach 500 playing this season so far without Amari Stoudemire, and again, one of their quickest and more talented performers in Leandro Barbosa, who is having an explosive start to his season.
Well, what a good win for the Phoenix Suns. These are games that can kind of get away from you. You come in overconfident against a team that's got a lot of injuries, and Charlotte played hard, but the Suns did what they had to do, led by that man, Eddie House, who really shot the ball well and kept this team afloat. And it's good to see the Suns here on the road continue their winning ways. That's 3 in a row.
12 fourth quarter points for Eddie House. He finishes with 26. And down go the Bobcats here in Charlotte. The Suns win it 110-100. Bobcats came in first 4 of their last 5, but the Suns grabbed the victory and improved to 18-10 on the season. Our player of the game and Suns report comes next from Charlotte.